YouTube, what's good, guys? It's your boy TD, and I'm back again with another live, guys. And today's live is going to be on 10 sleepers that you should not be missing out on. I believe these guys could be league winners. Now, listen, I have talked about these guys in the past, but things are changing. Some of these guys are even being bigger sleepers. And some of these guys after the draft is still a big time sleeper. So I want to make sure that y'all know that these guys are great value. If you are mock drafting with me on a weekly basis, guys, you probably already know a lot of these guys. So make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. This is cutting edge content. I said what I said. This is cutting edge content. Let's go. Okay, guys. So let me give me a little drink of coffee from Starbucks. So the first guy, guys, that I want to talk about is the wide receiver. And this wide receiver, when he got drafted, which was 2 years ago, he came into the league as an older wide receiver. So he was drafted late because he was already an older guy. I think he came up through the COVID. So he stayed an extra year. Now, when the guy came, he came in as a punt returner. But before the end of the season, this guy was getting work and helped his team win a lot of games. And I actually think they went to the playoffs as a rookie, and he outplayed everybody on his team. So, and this kind of might give some of it away who this guy's going to be. This guy came and started playing with Derek Carr, and I thought he was going to be a third wide receiver as far as in target share, but he wasn't. A lot of games, he was the number one target over guys like a Chris Olave, which is the New Orleans Saints, and also Michael Thomas. Now, listen, we know Michael Thomas is probably going to get traded. His career is on the downside. He's had a lot of injuries. But this guy's Rasheed Shaheed, guys. I believe that Rasheed Shaheed is going to be a top number 2 wide receiver in the league. Now, listen, I'm not telling you to take this guy to be a top 12 wide receiver, but top 24 wide receiver, yes. And his value and his ADP is very low right now. I believe this guy is going to be not better than Chris Olave, but he's going to have games where he outplays Chris Olave. Maybe outplays is a strong word. Maybe I would say he outproduces him in a game because maybe they take Chris Olave away. Now, Chris Olave, guys, is a great route runner. I don't believe he can take 13, 14 targets every single game and be a number 1 wide receiver, which is a top 12 guy or even a top 5 guy. I don't believe Rasheed Shaheed is there, but I believe Rasheed Shaheed can have a big play every game. And one thing that I believe that a lot of fantasy football managers do not understand is guys who are big play guys that can win you a week or can win you a league or even a championship or a playoff game inside the fantasy football playoffs. You are looking for guys who's getting 13, 14, 9, 8 targets, and you miss out on guys who get 4 or 5 targets almost every game, but one of them going to be a big play, and that guy end up having 16 points, 20 points, or even maybe 5 points. But either way, to have that guy on your team, the other team fears you because if he get one big play, that's automatically 16 points, and you can beat a team that has a lot of guys who's getting a lot of targets. So, yes, I do like players like Amon-Ra St. Brown and Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase who are getting superior targets. But I also like guys like Rasheed Shaheed, who's only getting 4 to 5 targets and can get more on a per game basis that can win you a week. And I love having these guys as my flex plays, sometimes wide receiver 2, sometimes wide receiver 3, depending on the league, especially if you get bonus points for fantasy, right? Some leagues you where if a guy score a long touchdown, you get bonus points. I play in a lot of leagues like this. So I love these type of players, guys. So Rasheed Shaheed, guys, I believe you got to get him this year as a boom guy. These is what I call boom guys. Okay. So, and guys, I will get to everybody comment, but I'm going to make sure that I go through the list. That way people who are watching this video after I in the live will be able to watch this and don't be bogged down with the comments. But I will get to everybody comments. So put your comments in there, guys. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. I actually open this live up for everybody to comment. So I didn't do it. Usually I only let my subscribers comment, but everybody should be able to comment. Don't make me take it off of that. So make sure you hit the like button and subscribe. Okay, let's move on to another guy. This guy's going to be a tight end. Now listen, this is another thing I want to talk about. Offenses change from year to year. In order to be a great fantasy football player, you have to be able to draft according to the growth of a team. So Bill Belichick was huge on this. He went from McCoy Dillon, Curtis Martin type, I'm going to run the ball 75% of the time, through the next 20 years to a quarterback who's going to pass it 45 to 50 times. You got to keep transforming. So if you drafted every running back that Bill Belichick drafted or put on his team, you wasn't going to get that type of value. You wasn't going to get a number one or a top 5 RB. Early in his career with Tom Brady, yes, those running backs was huge. Corey Dillon, what was the other guy? He had a lot of really good running backs, but then they transformed to a passing team. Now, the team that I'm talking about is transforming into a double tight end team. And usually this has been like a heavy, we got a top tight end guy, and we're going to give him the ball every time. And we're going to give him the ball between the 20s, and we're going to give him the ball in the red zone or in the green zone. I believe things are changing. That's why they got a new offensive coordinator. And the offensive coordinator, which is going to probably give this away, is Todd Munskin from Georgia. They bought Todd Munskin in for one. He's a good quarterback coach. He had a lot of good quarterbacks that he groomed in college at Georgia. And also he could beat top teams when they needed to passing the ball. Guys like Brock Bowers had really great years under Todd Munskin. So the guy that I'm talking about, guys, is going to be Isaiah Likely. Yes, guys, Isaiah Likely. Now, listen, a lot of you think I'm crazy by moving Mark Andrews down. Mark Andrews is a championship player. I said what I said. This is not about Mark Andrews. It's other players like Travis Kelce, and I'm going to mention him because he's not on this video. But Travis Kelce is a championship player. But I'm not drafting Travis Kelce to have 1,400 yards like he did 2 or 3 years ago because they are trying to win championships. You go through all championship teams from the New York Yankees to the Lakers to the San Antonio Spurs. When their stars got older, they wasn't great regular season players as far as betting on for their props or thinking they're going to have big-time games and score 50, 60 points every game. So Mark Andrews is not going to be getting 8 to 10 targets every game. That way somebody can fall on his ankle again and he's out when we really need him. If they would have had Mark Andrews, I'm not saying they would have won that game, but it'd been a different type of game. Now, listen, this is what Mark Andrews will do. And again, this video is about Isaiah Likely, not Mark Andrews. What Mark Andrews will be and will do is get a lot of the green zone targets. He's a great red zone target. He's been Lamar Jackson's favorite red zone target for his whole career. So Mark Andrews can have 10 receiving touchdowns. And if you take him at the right value, that's good. But the guy who's going to be getting the ball pushed downfield, because they didn't draft a lot of wide receivers that's going to really make a difference, it's going to be Isaiah Likely. This team was doing really well when Isaiah Likely was having big games. So I would like to maybe wait late and get a guy like Isaiah Likely and stream tight ends if it don't work out, because there's so many tight ends that you can play. Tight ends position is kind of different. It just depends on what type of league you're in. Or get Mark Andrews and then get Likely. That way you squeezing. You're going to get an elite guy, and you can play both guys together. I believe Isaiah Likely is going to be like a Shannon Sharp, Brock Bowers type, where he's going to be playing wide receiver, and they're going to be designing plays to get him out in space to catch balls. He's not a great blocker. Mark Andrews is a pretty good blocker. Isaiah Likely is not. But Isaiah Likely is faster, and he's can get downfield a little bit better than Mark Andrews at this point in time of Mark Andrews' career. So, guys, don't be worried about, Isaiah Likely. Mark Andrews is the number one. It doesn't matter. This offense is changing into a double tight end where they want to spread the ball out a little bit to take some pressure off Lamar. That's why they got Derrick Henry. And Isaiah Likely always going to have one-on-one coverage because he does got good players beside him like Zay Flowers. With Rashad Bateman, hopefully he can push through an injury this year. And then you got Derrick Henry, and then you got Lamar. So he's going to get one-on-one. So, guys, I love Isaiah Likely. All right. Let's move on. Again, I'm going to get to everybody comments. So, guys, just be patient. I'm just going to read through my list, my 10 guys. All right. The next guy is a quarterback. And this is a quarterback that I told y'all 3 years ago. 3 years ago, I made a trade. And I put it up in the community tab. And the trade was something like I had Jamar Chase and I had Ramondre Stevenson. and I had CJ Mosley because this was an IDP league. And I traded these 3 guys for this quarterback, Kyle Hamilton, some good, solid players, but they wasn't elite like Jamar Chase or even Ramondre Stevenson. But I needed Ramondre Stevenson, and Jamar Chase wasn't going to win me the league. And everybody, when I traded for this quarterback was kind of coming off a down year. He just had got traded. Nobody wanted him. They said he sucked. His coach got to tell him where to throw the ball. He can't read the defense. He's unathletic. I'm like, the team that he was going to with the type of coaching system that they had, I was like, hey, I don't know, man. I think this guy's going to be solid because I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan, and I know what Troy Aikman was because of the team that was built around him. If you told Troy Aikman to pass like he's Dan Marino, I don't know if he's Dan Marino. But when you have a strong run game, you have a great coach, you got great positional players around you, you can be elite. And this guy that I'm talking about, guys, had 4,500 yards last year. This guy had 30 touchdowns and only 12 interceptions and had a 97.9 QBR rating. And this guy is Jared Goff. Yes, guys, Jared Goff. And I told you 3 years ago that this was a sleeper guy. I got him on plenty of dynasty teams, and now I can flip him for a first-round pick. Now, in my leagues, I can get a little bit more for him. But he's a little bit older. All these other quarterbacks, young guys, they don't really want to pay 2 firsts, but he's worth for 2 firsts. In dynasty. But in redraft league, guys, you can go and get all these studs like Breach Hall, not Breece, Breach Hall, B. John Robinson, Garrett Wilson, Jamar Chase, Amon-Ra, and then you can wait late and get a Jared Goff, and he outperformed Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, C.J. Stroud. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to take him over these guys, but I'd rather stack my team and get a guy like Jared Goff. Jared Goff ball for you in the fantasy football playoffs. So I love Jared Goff, guys. I think he is on the way to be a Hall of Famer. Hall of Famer? Come on, KD. A Hall of Famer? Guys, look at his numbers. He been to what? A Super Bowl? Lost the Super Bowl. He got a winning record against Pat Mahomes, one of the only quarterbacks to have a winning record against Pat Mahomes. He beat Pat Mahomes when he was with LA with Sean McVay, and he beat him this year in the beginning of the season. And Detroit is ready. All they need is the defense. Detroit should have beat San Francisco. Jared Goff played elite. He got elite players around him, like Amon-Ra St. Brown. Jameson Williams is coming into his own. He got the youngest, best tight end in the game, Sam Laporta, with a great coach who was very hard on his team, where they're very disciplined. I love Jared Goff. I'm taking Jared Goff this year and taking him in Dynasty, and I'm riding it out with it. Pause. Let me get some coffee. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. This is cutting edge content. So let's move on to my next sleeper. Again, guys, make sure you keep commenting. I will get to everybody comment. I'm just reading through the list. That way people who tune into this live or video later or be able to watch it. The next guy I'm talking about was drafted as a top 10 pick. And he did that off of injury. So sorry guys, a flighting got in here. We open our door. I apologize for that. But this guy was drafted as a top 10 pick, and he struggled coming off an injury in college. And you thought this guy was going to be elite. I mean, this guy had big plays all day in college. That's why they still drafted him as a top 10 pick coming off a knee injury. And so when he got healthy, he started getting in trouble for little bitty things, and he got suspended. And next thing you know, a player that was drafted later than him ended up being the number 1 guy. And I'm going to tell you who this guy is, so be patient with me. And so everybody started trading him. Now, me, I treat players like fantasy football. I know fantasy football, and I know players so good, it's almost like the stock market for me. I know when to buy. So I started trying to get this guy. And I still think you can get him right now. You still can get this guy. And this guy is Jameson Williams. His quarterback is Jared Goff. So I was like, listen, he might not be the player that they want him to be, but he's going to make some big plays. He's around a good team, good coaching. So they got into the playoffs, and they got to San Francisco. And this dude, not San Francisco, I'm sorry, but they got to San Francisco. And this dude had 2 TDs. He had one receiving TD for about 40 yards, and then he had another rushing touchdown TD for that was a great play. That was a big play in the game. They should have won that game. And guys, Jameson Williams is going to have a better season this year. Is he Amon-Ra St. Brown? No. But is he going to have some big plays? Because they have to push the ball downfield. People are going to start trying to double team Amon-Ra St. Brown and take away Porter. And then, they got to worry about that run game. Who's going to get behind the defense to make him back up? It's going to be Jameson Williams. They already talk about he's having a great camp. So I love Jameson Williams. I think his trajectory is up, and you can buy him for real, real low. Guys, you can give a second-round pick for Jameson Williams. This was a top 10 pick. This was a top 5 pick in dynasty leagues. So this year, guys, you can pick him up. Maybe in some leagues, you might get him off the waiver wire after your draft is over. I love Jameson Williams. You got to go to these elite offenses and get these guys that people aren't on right now because of their past. You can't worry about the past. You got to look what's going forward. And this guy right here is moving up. Moving on up to the east side. Yes, sir. Jameson Williams. Okay, let's move on, guys. I got another quarterback for you. This next guy, guys, he's had 3, maybe 4 top 5 wide receivers in fantasy who's been targeted crazy. He's had 2 Triple Crown winners. He's had a couple guys that go off during a rookie season. This guy is Matthew Stafford. He's a guy that I'm drafting just like I'm doing with Jared Goff, where I'm letting everybody go get these top quarterbacks, and I'm getting CMC. I'm getting Breach Hall. I'm getting Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and then coming around and getting Matthew Stafford late in the draft. And this guy has a chance to win MVP. I said what I said. He has a chance to win MVP. This guy's putting the ball up. Let me tell you some of his numbers. Guys, Matthew Stafford missed like 4 games last season. He was 6th in QBR. He had over 3,900 yards. If he didn't miss those 4 games, he probably would have had 4,500 yards, maybe even more. He had 11 interceptions and 24 TDs. Shoot, you add what? You missed 4 games, you add 2 TDs per game. That's 30-some touchdowns. Passing touchdowns. Puka Nacua was a breakout rookie wide receiver. Now, Puka Nacua is a good athlete, but Matthew Stafford is one of the only few guys who can hyper-target a guy like that. He did it for Cooper Kupp. He did it for Calvin Johnson, and he did it for Puka Nacua. So these are the type of offense that I love to go and pick guys off of because the way they play is fantasy friendly. Like some teams ain't fantasy friendly. They just trying to win games. Lamar is not, at this point in time, is not very fantasy friendly. I love Lamar. I want him. He's going to play big in big games. But I don't think they trying to throw for 6 touchdowns and let Lamar throw it 50 times. Now, he can run some, but they got Derrick Henry this year. So I want to go to a team that has something to prove, who's going to be winning with a certain type of formula that's going to help out in fantasy points. And that's Matthew Stafford, hyper-targeting, a former Triple Crown winner with Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, who broke rookie records. And then you got 2 young running backs, Blake Corum and Kyron Williams, who's really good. And you got one of the best offensive minds that ever coached the game in Sean McVay. So I'm squeezing that. I'm going to get Matthew Stafford, and I'm also squeezing that whole team. That's a stack. I've seen a couple comments talking about stacks. That's a team that I'm willing to stack. Okay. So we got a couple more guys. Guys, work with me. The next guy I'm going to talk about, he is what I call a boom-bust guy. But I love boom-bust guys, especially when I can get them from really great ADP. And this guy is Christian Watson. I know, Titty, man, you love Christian Watson. You biased. I'm biased until he go off. Don't you know they beat the Chiefs this year? That was the last team to beat the Chiefs, and Christian Watson killed them. The last play of the game, he pulled his hamstring. I mean, they gave him the ice the game. He did it, but his hamstring pulled, and that was it for the rest of the season as far as him being valuable. So, guys, Christian Watson against the Chiefs, he had 71 receiving yards and 2 TDs. Also, the game before they played Detroit, they beat Detroit. He had 94 yards receiving and 1 TD. Now, Detroit is not a great defense, but the Chiefs is. He was at the Legarius Sneed, gave Tyreek fits. Christian Watson was killing him. See, y'all are too used to Jamar Chase. You want to be patty cake, bakers, man. Rolling around, throw them in the pan. Y'all want to be patty cake by 15 targets a game. If it ain't 15 targets, you don't want them. Me, hey, listen. Listen, I don't take sloppy seconds with my women, but I do take sloppy seconds when it comes to fantasy football players. Pause. So I love Christian Watson. When he go and I got him in the 8th, 9th round and he boomed for 30 points with Jordan Love, man, TD Christian Watson. I'm like, hey, I knew it. I know he's gonna give me some 5-point games, some 8-point games, but he also gonna give me some 30-point, 40-point, 30-point, 40-point, 30-point, 40 points. That's how you win in fantasy. You go back and look at all your fantasy football championships. The guys who getting 15 targets don't just win your championship. It be guys coming out of nowhere like, what? This guy, man, he had only 3 catches, but he had it for 2 touchdowns, and that's how he beat me by 5 points. That's how you win. I want guys who can give me big points, not safe guys. Now, I do want guys who's going to get hyper-targeted, but you got to make room for your team for guys who's going to boom like Christian Watson. Okay. So let's move on. This next guy plays for my Dallas Cowboys. And this guy's another wide receiver, and it's Jalen Tolbert. You might say, Jalen Tolbert? He was drafted in the 2nd round, man. He ain't did nothing in 2 years. I know, right? I know Jalen Tolbert ain't did anything in 2 years. But let me tell you why I like Jalen Tolbert. Let me get a drink of coffee. I like Jalen Tolbert because they didn't draft any wide receivers in this draft. Brandon Cooks is getting older. CeeDee Lamb can't get every single target. So Jalen Tolbert has to grow. And if you watch down the stretch a couple games, Jalen Tolbert had some really good catches, and he has like 3 or 4 targets. So he got to grow. So listen, guys, you can pick this guy off waivers after the draft over. This is not a guy that you're drafting over anybody that you own. But these are some sleeper guys that you can pick. And next thing you know, you already got him on your team stash, and everybody else like, hey, man, why'd you pick him up? I try to put in a waiver bid. No, I already got him, bro. I stashed him. That's why I love stashing players. That's my favorite videos. Stash. I'm always looking to stash a player. That way, when he hit, I already got him. And also, I'm kind of looking at the trajectory, right? Because they don't got no other wide receiver. Brandon Cook is not going to get no 8-9 targets a game. He might get 4 or 5. So the next young guy with Michael Gallup being let go is going to be Jalen Tolbert. Listen, guys, you watch him in college. He came out of a smaller school, but he was a good player. He just got to learn the NFL game. It takes time. It took Jerry Rice a little bit of time. It took John Taylor a little bit of time. It takes these guys that come out of smaller schools. It takes them a little bit of time because it's different. Everybody's good. Everybody's pressuring. Everybody's strong. Everybody's fundamentally sound. So I believe Jalen Tolbert, guys, with his size, pause, and the coaching with Dallas do got really good coaching. I think he's going to be fine. So, guys, pick up Jalen Tolbert. All right, we got a few more guys, and I'm going to get to everybody comment. Guys, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. This is cutting edge content. Okay. So the next guy is a running back. And I thought this guy, I was just going to stash him this year. And I thought he was going to be in a competition. And then they didn't draft not one running back in the draft. And this guy was like a 3rd-round pick when he got drafted like 2 years ago. And this guy is Zamir White from the Las Vegas Raiders. And let me tell you why I believe Zamir White has the upside to be a top 5 running back and at least a top 24 running back if he stays healthy. Guys, Antonio Pierce is the head coach of this team. He's a middle linebacker. If you watch 90% of defensive coordinators, when they head coaches, they're going to run the ball. If you watch that team last year, the last 6 or 7 games, they established the line of scrimmage, and they was a whole different team than when Josh McDaniels was the head coach. So Zamir White get all goal line opportunities. It's going to be Zamir White, bring in a couple little guys, Zamir White, Devontae Adams. They're going to probably have the least amount of passing attempts in the league because they're going to have a young quarterback. Gardner Minshew is not going to be throwing the ball 40, 50 times a game, only when they need them to. That's why they didn't go out and get no wide receivers. They got Brock Bowers for that double tight end game where they got the play action to help the quarterbacks out, but it's going to be Zamir White down your throat, pause. And then it's going to be play action deep to Devontae Adams. So the Zamir White guy's going to get all the goal line opportunities. There's only about 2-3 backs in the league that's getting all goal line opportunities. Nobody's taking his goal line opportunities. So I love Zamir White, guys. I'm going to get him. I think you might have to overdraft this guy. Like I think he could be a 3rd round pick. Like, I'm trying to think of guys that I would actually draft over him outside of like Jonathan Taylor and Breach Hall and B. John and CMC. I don't know another player that I would love to have. I don't know another player that I would love to have outside of him. So I'm loving Zamir White. All right, guys, we got 2 more guys to go. Thank y'all for watching the whole video. Make sure you hit the like button. Appreciate everybody being here. Always showing support. Okay. So the next guy, he's been, before last year, he was the top 5 running back like 3 years in a row. I wasn't touching him. I touched him a couple times early, pause. And he got hurt. And then when I did draft him, he ended up being the number 1 running back. But this guy is Austin Ekeler. Yes, Austin Ekeler. Austin Ekeler. Austin Ekeler. Yes, Austin Ekeler. He's playing for a rookie quarterback. Guys, I love Austin Ekeler. Reason why I love Austin Ekeler this year is because when you got a young quarterback, you got to get the ball out your hands. So that's why they went and got Austin Ekeler. That way, this guy's not taking a lot of sacks. You don't want rookie quarterbacks taking a lot of sacks. So usually, if you look at rookie quarterbacks, they target the running backs and the tight ends the most because they unsure. And if they unsure, they're going to go to the first read. And that's usually the running back for the swing route or the option right out the backfield or the tight end. To me, that tight end, I don't think they're going to be trying to hyper target Ben Sinnott, but Austin Ekeler is the guy that I believe can get 6 or 7 catches a game. He can still do that, guys. He got 4 or 5 more years catching the ball out the backfield. But getting all the goal line opportunities, no, that's going to be Brian Robinson. But PPR leagues, I'm taking Austin Ekeler, and he's going 5th, 6th round. If you're a 0 RB guy, you can't beat it going with Austin Ekeler. If he's your 1st or 2nd running back as a 0 RB target, I think you killed it. Okay. So let's move on to my last and final guy, guys. Appreciate everybody being here. I'm going to get to everybody comment. My next guy is going to be Deontay Johnson. Yes, guys, Deontay Johnson for the Carolina Panthers. Now, listen, I haven't been on Deontay Johnson for like 2 years because of injuries and drops. But I think the Pittsburgh Steelers, the pressure there was too much for him, and I think he needed a new start. And we see that in life. We see that in sports all the time. Far as in life, we see with people, you've been in a relationship, it ain't good, you're arguing all the time, and then you get with somebody else, and it's great. And are you a changed person? No. It's just you got a chance to put your best foot forward and somebody to appreciate you for who you are, where they're not looking in your past. Deontay Johnson, they looking at his past. He dropped balls. We should draft this guy. I don't trust him. So you got to go somewhere else. Somewhere else, somebody really going to appreciate you. And I believe with Bryce Young being a short quarterback and a young quarterback, they need to get the ball out quick. And Deontay Johnson in PFF is one of the best wide receivers getting open the quickest. This dude can get open in the phone booth now. Now, if he's concentrating and he's focused, he's going to catch the ball. So I believe that they're going to be getting the ball out fast with Bryce Young. He might lead the league getting the ball out quick. That's why they hired the coach that they did. I didn't think that he fit Frank Reich's style. Holding on to the ball, trying to make big plays. That's not what the type of style they need. He needs to be on the move and getting the ball out quick. And Deontay Johnson, Adam Thielen, these type of guys can help him with that. Then you got guys that you could push the ball downfield with Leggett. But like Deontay Johnson, I believe he could be a top 12 wide receiver. Not saying he is, but he has the potential because he's going to catch 10 passes a game, I believe. They're going to move this guy around and give him a chance to get open. So I love Deontay Johnson, guys. Make sure you pick him up. All right. So let's get to the comments. Appreciate everybody being here. Big Will, he says, yeah, he got me the gold medal. Yes, sir, bro. Appreciate that. Yes, sir, 100. Let me see here. We got Haran. He says, happy Sunday. Yes, sir, bro. Yes, sir. I'm going to try to go live later on again, guys. That way we can do a mock draft today. You know, today is the money mock draft. Win $5 if you got the best mock draft. Ethan, what's up, brother? He said, do you think Rasheed would be more of a boom guy or more of a safer pick? He's gonna be a boom guy, but he's a safe boom guy. If it's a such thing as that. I think for the boom guys, he's going to be safe because he's the number 2 wide receiver. A lot of boom guys are number 3 wide receiver guys, but I do think he's more safer than Christian Watson if that helps you out. I do think he's going to get a lot of targets, and he's on the new kickoff return rules. I think he can eat there too. I don't know if your league actually has points for that, but I think he's going to be getting opportunities on kick returns and punt returns. And him and Derek Carr got a lot of good chemistry together. Harambe says, I'm targeting him in my leagues, the kick return points plus the boom. I agree. Yes, sir. Kevin, what's up, bro? He said, missed you, bro. Yes, sir. Glad to see you back. Yes, sir. Ethan says, when you're drafting, do you look at bye weeks or schedule? No. I don't look at that's too analytical. Now, I'm not going to say that you shouldn't do it, but to me, I don't think that's going to make you or break you. Listen, I don't care if I would lose a week because I'm on a bye week, I just lose that week. It's only going to be maybe 1 week, and then I'm going to work the waiver wires, and I'm not going to drop a guy that I don't want to lose just to win a week. Now, if I need to win that week, it's the last week of the playoffs or something, that's different. I sell my team out to win 1 game to get into the playoffs. But I'm not doing that trying to look at schedules and stuff from the beginning. No, I'm drafting the best players that for my team. What's going on, Mason? Yes, sir, bro. Charlene, what's going on? Ethan says, what defenses and kickers do you like? So right now, defenses, Baltimore Ravens defense is going to be really good. I think Detroit is going to have a sleeper defense. And who else is going to have a defense? I like Green Bay's defense. I like Green Bay. There's a couple other defenses out there that I think is going to be solid. And kickers, man, I don't do a lot of kickers, man. I say go with the kicker teams that's going to score the most points. That's the Rams. I would say Baltimore. We know Tucker is really good. He's a Hall of Famer. Just go with Detroit kicker. Any team that you think is going to be a high-scoring team, I'll go with those kickers. Outside of that, bro, I don't really got a lot of kickers. I don't do a lot of kicker leads. Kevin says, I like Dawson Knox this year. Like you mentioned, offenses change year to year. Come on now. And I know Kincaid is there. He won't win you a league. But if you have to stream, yes, I agree with that. I agree. I love that. That's what they're going to. They're going to a double tight ends type system. Dawson Knox is going to get some targets. This is not the wide receivers. That's why they let Stephon Diggs. This is going to be a team that they're going to run the ball with James Cook and the other running backs. And they're going to play action the ball and take the ball out of Josh Allen's hand too much and go to the tight ends like Kincaid and maybe hit Keon Coleman or Khalil Shakir down the field on a couple big plays. They're not going to be trying to push the ball downfield every play like they try to do with Diggs. Harambe says, a great stack would be Goff, Brown, or Laporta. It's realistic stack to get, in my opinion. Yes. Also, even get Gibbs if you can. Any stack on that team is great. Going to be good this year. Charlene says, I hate hype on players there, except for your advice. Actions speak louder than words. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Only reason why I get on players right now to give y'all a edge. That way you can already be on these guys and you know what they're worth before everybody else lets the cat out the bag. Charlene says, Miami DST and Matt Gay. Okay, she know her stuff. She put us on Miami DST last year. They're going to have a lot of turnovers. I think they can get a lot of turnovers, especially when you got guys, the cornerbacks that they have. I just want to see how they're going to rush the passer this year. They didn't have a lot of guys that could rush the passer last year. Kevin says, thoughts on Rasheed Rice. Move on. Let it happen. Don't take the only way you take Rasheed Rice if you get him like in the 10th, 11th round. Don't take him for no 6th round. Talking about, I got Rasheed Rice. And when he comes back, I'm going to be nasty. That boy might take 3 or 4 games to get back. They might just use him for the fantasy football, for the real NFL playoffs, not the fantasy football playoffs. So to me, I'm moving on. I'm not waiting on him. That's too much trouble. I'm not going to hold my team hostage like that. Now, if you can get him for the right ADP, listen, ain't no bad player in fantasy. All players are good. I don't care. As long as they own that team and they like first, second, and third, with second, third, or fourth string, they can have an opportunity. But don't let it cost value. Like, don't take him early and wait on him. I had a friend of mine had a killer draft. He had Jonathan Taylor. He had Alvin Kamara. And they couldn't play the first 4 games. And he missed the playoffs. But those guys end up doing really well, but he couldn't wait. He ended up had to trade them because he had to try to win certain weeks in order to keep his trajectory. So I'm not waiting on no player. I'm not waiting on no Rasheed Rice. Since last case got dropped, I was able to buy in 2 different leagues for a 26 second. 26 second is not bad. I don't know if I would have did that. I might would have gave up a third. I might not even got him. But 26 second ain't bad. But listen, man, they might move on from it because they might not can't trust them. They might not can't trust them. That's what you got to understand. It ain't always the talent. It's like, man, we ain't waiting on you. If that's why they drafted Xavier Worthy. It wasn't because of Rice. It was like, hey, they took the next best available player. If you miss time with an injury, they'll move on. Teams will move. This is professional, man. That don't nobody. This is like real life. You can get sick and your girl can leave you. Your wife can leave you. But you got, you know, that's life. You got to keep it moving. So I'm not waiting on no Rasheed Rice. Harami said, J-Mo is like Shaheed. Massive speed, boom, upside, and a better system. I agree. 100%. My boy Rami knows his football. Harami says, Watson, if healthy, is the wide receiver 1 on the Packers, and he will be cheaper than Reed this year. I agree. If he's healthy, that he's going to doctors about his hamstring injuries. But the way he's going is great value. That's why I'm not really worried about his injury history, because it's great value. Thomas Miller, what's going on with you, bro? Hopefully you subscribe to the channel. He says, laughing my butt off. Love your style. Thank you, bro. A lot of people don't like my style. A lot of people want all the bells and whistles and want me to read out stats. And sometimes they take that personal. That's not personal. That's just not my style. That's just not my style. Maybe they might say that I look like I got autism, or I can't get my words out. I don't pronounce my nouns correctly. I don't care. I know I stand toe-to-toe with anybody with picking players. And you can hold on to a couple players that I get wrong, and you can ride that off to the sunset, because that's what they do. Last year I picked Daniel Jones to have a chance to win MVP, and that's all you can see in the comment section. They don't talk about Jared Goff. They don't talk about Lamar Jackson. They don't talk about a lot of the Amon-Ra St. Brown, Tyreek Hill, because I was on these players years ago before they hit hard, right? Pause. Appreciate you being here, though. Aramis says a lot of pauses today. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Big Wheel says facts about Ekeler. The draft experts ranked him super low, which is perfect for me. The disrespect, I agree, 100%. Big Wheel says, I think I'm going pocket passer this year unless the hybrid quarterbacks fall to me. Yes, sir. Stafford is great at controlling defense with his eyes and can make a big play. There you go. That's all I'm saying. I'm not telling you to draft these guys over these dual threat guys. I'd rather have a dual threat guy, but I'm not going to overdraft the guy when I can get value like Jared Goff and Matthew Stafford, who will be passing a lot this year, especially Matthew Stafford. Yes, sir. What's going on, Sports SPS guys? Go follow this guy on TikTok. This guy be killing it. This guy is killing it on TikTok. He also has a YouTube channel too. He says Jordan Love or Kyler Murray to build a franchise with. I'm going with Jordan Love at this point. I'm going with Jordan Love, man. Jordan Love, man, when he was on, man, you couldn't stop him. I mean, he should have won that playoff game against San Francisco again. Maybe I'm biased. But he until he turned the ball over. So I'm saying Jordan Love. I love Kyler Murray too. Kyler Murray's going to have a big year. I love Kyler Murray. Ethan says, how do you feel about Ezekiel Elliott and Gus Edwards? I love Gus Edwards. I'm a ride with him till the wheels fall off. Pause. So Gus Edwards, I don't believe he's going to be the starter the whole season. I believe guys like Vidal and these other guys are going to come and actually have a chance. But Gus Edwards is going to be good early. So sometimes it's quadrants. You got 4 quadrants in fantasy football. You got the first quadrant, which is the first 4 or 5 games. You got the second quadrant, 4 games, 4 games, 4 games, 4 games, up to the 4th quadrant, which is the fantasy football playoffs. And in order to win a championship, you want players balling in the 4th quadrant. That means they ready to go for you in the championship run. That's why you have 6 seeds and 5 seeds winning championships instead of 1 and 2 seeds sometimes, because they get these great teams early and then they the rookies start balling and things start changing and the offense start changing. And then these teams that was winning start calming down to get ready for the playoffs, and then the whole trajectory changes. So I think Ezekiel Elliott is going to be good early. I don't know if he's going to be good all the way out through the season. So I'm willing to draft the guy, but not early. Gus Edwards, I'm willing to take this guy as a top 6 pick, top 7 pick, because he's going to be getting all the goal line carries early in the season. And that might be his role. And if he stays healthy, he'll get all goal line carries the whole season. So I love Gus Edwards over Zeke. Big Will says, I think I'm going pocket pass. Okay, yeah, we did that. I'm sorry. We did that one already. Charlene says, what happened to your boy Hyatt? I think I'm going to blame Daniel Jones, and I'm also going to blame Dayball. I think if Jalen Hyatt would have played for Kansas City instead of Rasheed Rice being there, Hyatt would have balled for Kansas City and would have had a great season for a rookie. If you take Rasheed Rice and put him on the Giants, he has the same season that Hyatt has. So that's why I'm big on coaching and offensive systems. So Hyatt, to me, I still love Hyatt. I'm still taking him. I still listen. I'm not going to sit here and talk about it. I still love Daniel Jones. But I'm never going to talk about Daniel Jones. If he has a great week or a great season, I'm just going to be like, yeah, Daniel Jones, and I'm going to move on. I'm not going to say anything because sometimes stuff don't happen right away. And I think y'all will understand that. I'm not trying to sit there and say I was right because I was totally wrong about Daniel Jones. But that doesn't mean that he's a bad player. So now I know a lot of you think Baker Mayfield is better than Daniel Jones off 1 year. But 2 years ago, all of you said Baker Mayfield sucked. So this is what you do with fantasy. Oh, I like him. I don't like him. Oh, I like him. I don't like him. Now, I understand when players go through devastating injuries, but they're good if they're good. If you go to the wrong team, they don't know how to use you. If Tyreek Hill goes to the New York Jets, he's a kick return special guy. Never gets to play wide receiver. Played a little bit of running back. But he went to Kansas City, and he's a Hall of Famer. Now, it don't happen like that for all players. Some players are just so great, and they have the size for the position pause that they're going to be there regardless. But guys that are like hybrids and people don't know what to do with them, sometimes their career just get killed. And I think Hyatt, unless Dayball and Daniel Jones come together, they don't know how to use Hyatt. Thoughts. Thomas Miller says thoughts on Penix. I love Penix. And as a value for dynasty. Now I'm not saying he's going to be special, but he's going to wait. Listen, guys, there's no such thing as a bad quarterback in the NFL. I said what I said. Now listen, reason why quarterbacks fail, they push him out there in the water too early, and they don't know how to swim. They ain't told them no technique over top. You ain't got no technique, so you're gonna fail. If you take Jordan Love and you tell him to start right away for the Jets, he looks like Zach Wilson. But if you take Zach Wilson and you put him in Green Bay and you tell him to wait 4 years before he starts, he's a solid quarterback. I'm not saying he's special, but he's solid. You take Brock Purdy and you put him on the Jets. Oh, he sucked. He Mr. Irrelevant. You put him on the San Francisco 49ers. He's a starter. He beat out Trey Lance. So Michael Penix sitting behind Kirk Cousins for 2 to 3 years or even more. He's going to come out and he's going to have his best opportunity. He might not be special, but he's going to be a solid quarterback. Guys, it's just like the game has changed. When you get drafted out of the college now, you can throw the ball. You just need great coaching in order to be able to play in the NFL and be an okay guy. So he's not going to suck. But would he be a Super Bowl winning quarterback? I don't know. I'm like I know football, but I'm not going to sit here and say I'm God. I don't know. I think he's going to be able to hit open guys, But how the team going to be at that point in time, I don't know. But I think he's a good guy to get and stash him on your team. I think he's going to be fine when he gets his opportunity. Harami says, I'm big on Stafford this year. I'm rolling him out with Lamar and Superflex. Yes, sir. I like that stat. Them two guys. Sports says the most underrated player in the NFL. The most underrated, and that's a great question. I like that. I like that. Let me see here. Let me see here. Ooh, that's a tough question, man. That's a tough question. I would say Christian Watson. I'm going to be biased. I'm going to say Christian Watson. The reason why I'm going to say Christian Watson, guys, don't you know that he has the second best combine as a wide receiver in the history of the combine? Guess who's number one? Calvin Johnson. You know who's number two? Christian Watson is number two. So I'm going to go with Christian Watson. I think this guy, outside of his hands, I think his hands is average. Can be below average at times, but I think his hands is average. But I think his speed, his jumping ability, his athletic ability, staying in front of this guy, I think this guy is a phenom. Guys, make sure you get that phenom list too. The Phenom Finder. Go in the chat, or not the chat, but the description, and go down and click that Phenom Finder and sign up for Patreon. This is really good content. You'll look at all how I got this algorithm. Me and my homeboy, we both got this together, and Alex, and it's really good. You can look at all the rookies, what they have done, and Christian Watson is high on this list, so that's why I'm talking about it right now. So make sure you go purchase that Phenom Finder. But getting back to Christian Watson, guys, his athletic ability is second to none. If he catches the ball, I don't think nobody can stay in front of him. I think he can score almost every time. I mean, this guy, he's 6'4" and runs like a 4'3". Can run the ball. He can play different positions. I love the guy. Can give him the end rounds. Harami says, if you have haters, you're doing it right, TD. I know, bruh. And I'm motivated. Some people will say, well, TD, don't talk about the haters. It makes me feel good. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't bog me down. It makes me like, okay, keep doing it. It's making me feel like the world is against me and I'm right and I'm gonna win. Even though it might be in my own head, I like that. So I love the haters, man. I agree with you 100%. Ethan says, do you like Cup or Diggs more this year? I like Cup more than Diggs. I like Cup if Cup can stay healthy. Harami says, also, this format is awesome because it allows us to recap at the end of your player list. Right. Thank you, bro. Thank you for the input. And Harami says, most underrated player is an awesome question. Who do you think sports like? Yeah, that was an awesome question, bro. That was a great question. Charlene says, I was 12-2 before the playoffs, coming third, fourth quadrant. I couldn't finish it. It's okay. I went down with the ship. There you go. That's what fantasy is. You're not going to win every single league. It's about drafting your players that you believe in and being okay with it and don't hesitate. The same thing. They tell you that in MMA and boxing, sports, tennis, don't hesitate. If you hit the ball wrong and you knock it out of bounds, if you don't hesitate, you're going to get it right eventually. But if you hesitate, and you're going to miss every single time. Same thing when you go and trying to pick up a beautiful girl across the room. If you, it's over. You look weak. But if you, hey, look, you want to dance? No, I don't want to dance. You good. She might come back and say, you know what? I do want to dance. But don't hesitate. Because you hesitate, boom, it's gone. It missed you. You're going to have to wait for another opportunity. I've missed opportunities in life, and I learned that. That's why I think I was the player that I was in high school. I used to get butterflies. I'm a freshman. I'm playing varsity. These guys out here big. Pause. But I'm like, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to push through. So, guys, what I'm telling you is pick your players. If it don't work out, who cares? You went down with the ship. I'm not going to sit here and chastise you. I don't care if I don't agree with none of your players, but if you sitting around every week, oh my God, this guy let me down. Next week, oh, this guy let me down. Oh, this guy didn't do this. If you complaining about your players every single week, you can't play fantasy football. I don't care about guys giving me 5 points, 4 points, because eventually they're going to boom. If they don't boom, I'm going to move on from them. I don't let 1 week think a guy's let me down unless he's out there and he can't catch the ball like a QJ did this year or a quarterback throwing picks every single week. That's a little bit different. Maybe you can talk about that a little bit. Outside of that, guys, these guys are not going to score 40 points, 50 points for you every single week. Sports says, love to have you on my pod, my brother. Yeah, you know it. Bro, anytime, we just got to get the schedule together. We just got to get the schedule, bro. We just got to get the schedule together. You know it. Ethan says, do you ever draft guys so you can trade them later? No. I would do it in Dynasty for a quarterback. So say I got Lamar Jackson and say I got, Lamar Jackson and Pat Mahomes. And I got the 1-3 in the last year draft. And CJ Stroud comes on there. Now, listen, it just depends on what type of other players are out there. Like if it's another phenom type, Calvin Johnson type wide receiver, and I need a wide receiver, I'm probably going to go with the wide receiver, but I will take a CJ Stroud as a quarterback in a super flex league to trade. I'm not trading no other positions. I'm not drafting no other positions to trade. Now, if my team is super duper super stacked, then yeah, I'm just looking to trade, and I might just trade the pick, right? I'd rather trade the pick, but that's in Dynasty. But in redraft, I'm not never drafting nobody in redraft league to go trade. I'm not doing it. Now listen, other people that's really good in fantasy, they do that. I hate trading. I'm gonna tell y'all something about trading real quick. I don't want to get off topic, but trading is very toxic. People fall out. I fell out with people that are really good friends of mine over a trade, and we end up, it's like it gets real bad because he gonna tell me that I'm being funny and I need this player to make my team better, and I'm like, I don't want that player. I don't want CMC, and he's like, man, I'm gonna give you CMC, and I don't want him. Like it gets bad. I don't really trade a lot because I'm a great picker. I stash players. I don't really need to trade. So when I do trades, I'm just doing it. Sometimes I just do it, but sometimes it does make sense. But I got to win the trade tremendously. And when are you going to win a trade? Because I don't believe in no calculator stuff. I don't do no trade calculator shit. So I do not draft players to trade. Sports says Pacheco from the Chiefs is the most underrated. I like that. In fantasy football, no and yes. In real football, yes, he is underrated, but it's because of the team that he's on. I don't think his talent is underrated. I think his value is underrated on the team that he plays for. Any running back that plays for the Kansas City Chiefs or player, you're gonna have a good season. MVS had made big plays for them in the Super Bowl. He probably won't never make a big play for the rest of his career, but he did it because he's playing with a good team. That's why team philosophy and coaching is bigger than the player talent. Yes, Pacheco is a good one. Dollar Bill, what's up, bro? He says, I'm cutting grass while listening to you, bro. Yes, sir. Happy Sunday, bro. Appreciate you, Dollar Bill. Dollar Bill, y'all. Make sure y'all hit the like button and subscribe. Charlene says, my father said to me a lot, kiss, keep it simple, stupid. She said, my father said to me a lot, kiss, keep it simple, stupid. Right. Zach says, rank these players: DJ Moore, Marvin Harrison, Drake London, Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers, Drake London, DJ Moore, Marvin Harrison. Charlene says, that's what you find all the truth and answers. Right. You're right. I see what you're saying. Right. Keep it simple. Occam Razor. I can't forget who told me that, man. That's the greatest comment I probably had on my channel since I've been here. A guy told me, he said, TD, what makes your channel cutting edge is you an Occam Razor type strategy guy. And I'm like, okay, I remember the Occam Razor. I remember that in school. So I started thinking, I said, let me look it up. And he had put it in the chat, but I didn't want to see it. I looked it up. What it means is you basically keep everything simple, no matter how diverse, how complicated it is. You keep it simple. And when you keep it, and that's anything in life. Rocket science, going ocean diving, like trying to find out what's in the bottom of the ocean, all that stuff, even though it is technical and it is kind of hard, but you can keep it simple. You got to be able to teach people in a simple way, and that's what I do with fantasy. I teach you in a simple way. It's not easy to understand, but you can make it simple, if that makes sense. I know that's kind of like oxymoron, but yeah, keep it simple. I agree with you, Charlene. Harami said, Titi, would you trade Charbonnet and Treylon Burks in a late third round and pick up Shaheed and Zamir White? Yes, I would. Zamir White gonna be there for 2 years, got a chance to win a championship with him. Shaheed is a number 2 wide receiver, is going to be good. If you wait, Treylon Burks, they trying to move on from him. Charbonnet, I like Charbonnet. I think he will eventually get his turn. And the third round pick, I mean, who knows what that's going to be. So yes, if I'm trying to win right now, I'm making that trade. That's a good trade. Ethan says, would you touch Hockenson this year? No, I wouldn't. And listen, that don't mean that he's going to be bad. I'm not waiting on a guy with a knee injury. Now, he could come out with a knee injury and still be a top 5 tight end. I'm not saying that. I just think it's too many good guys like Kyle Pitts, David Njoku, Trey McBride, Isaiah Likely. It's a lot of good tight ends out there, and I'm not waiting on Hawk. I haven't really been big on Hawk. Hawk was the number 1 tight end before he got hurt. But I understood why Detroit traded him. I'm like, he don't mean that much to y'all team. But for having Justin Jefferson around him, he ate last year. So I'm not big on Hawk. I'm not waiting on him. Ethan says, do you like the Bears stat? I think it's okay. I'm not targeting it in a redraft league. I think that's you targeting cap. And I don't mean cap in a bad way, but you targeting something that's trending. Like I need to see Williams ball out before I start picking up his weapons. I'm not really. I take DJ Moore, but I'm nervous on Keenan Allen. Not saying they're gonna suck, but is he gonna get enough value outside of Nico Collins and Tank Dell? Even guys that with CJ Stroud wasn't all that great all the time. So I just don't in dynasty, yeah, but in redraft, I don't understand why you would want the Chicago stat, because unless you think Williams gonna go out there and win an MVP. If you think he's going to go out there and shock the whole world, then yeah, take him. But if he ain't going to go out, if he's just going to have a good rookie season where you know he's going to be elite going in the future, then why would you do that? Because his guys are not going to have 1,400 yards with 10 receiving touchdowns. You think he's going to have 3,000-yard wide receivers with Cole Kmet there? Or do you think they're going to run the ball a lot? They're going to have to run them. Even CJ Stroud needed a run game, especially early in the season. I don't know. That's just me. Arami says, thanks, TD, for the trade feedback. I'm liking that trade also. Yes. Yes, sir. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to get ready to get out of here. Y'all, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. This is cutting-edge content. Make sure, guys, you share this content. Share it. Ethan says, what time will the mock draft be today? It's probably between 6 and 9, bro. Between 6 and 9. I'm definitely going to do that mock today because I know y'all need that mock. I need the mock. How about Freiermuth and best ball? I do like Freiermuth, especially in an Arthur Smith type system. I do like Freiermuth. All right, guys. Y'all be safe. I'll see y'all later. Peace.
Okay, turn me up. They don't want no smoke, I'm in my bag. Bitch, I'm rolling up. They say this shit hot. Hot, bitch, I'm burning up. Yeah, let's talk some business. Ain't no money, I ain't showing up. Don't know how to act, a bunch of country niggas pulling up. Okay, turn me up. Now they say they want that country shit. Okay, now turn me up. Now they see I be that energy, I make them turn me up. Yeah, I know they trying to finish me, but it just turn me up. Okay, turn me up, Jay. Fresh to death on camouflage. Gotta keep a foot up on their necks cause they might sabotage. I ain't come for peace.